So for the video, which is the most widely watched one, was one of the older methods. Probably because I don't link to the newer method. I'm not sure which one you guys like the most. Definitely let me know. I can kind of shift things around, get more viewers, more subs. I'm hoping to hit 1,000. I want to hit 1,000 in a few months, and I definitely want to make the Rust connection, where everybody can get on a Discord, the web page. I don't know if you checked it out yet. There's really not much to it. I'm dealing with very low amount of space. It's a lot of information for these. So with 200 something people basically uploading their skins to the server that I ultimately want to make, it's going to be a lot. Plus I figure we can vote on the webpage for types of skins that can be updated, figure out wipe times, or I mean do it every other day, change the map, and then have a custom map by one of you guys. You know, we can vote it, but you guys need to learn how to go ahead and check out those maps first and see which ones you want to play on. Because I'm willing to host any of the Rust content that you guys create. In order to get there, though, this is not subscribed. For those of you subscribed, thank you so much. Those that you didn't, please consider subscribing. Because again, with 1,000, I can go ahead and use some of that money to actually go and complete what we need to do. You won't have to, I'm hoping, you won't have to go ahead and hope to God that your skins are upvoted. You'll be able to go ahead, upload them via the web page, and I can just throw them on, so every time that the map wipes, it'll have a fresh pack of skins for everybody to have. And then you can say, hey, I just got killed by that guy using my skin. It'll be great. It'll be a fun time, I promise. With that being said, let's jump into maps today. So, click on the link down at the bottom. You're going to download RustEdit Launcher exec. You're going to install it. Now, when you install it, you're going to have to find your Steam directory after. I just put it in X program files, x86 RustEdit. This has no bearing on it. Yes, begin the install. I already installed it. Once it's installed and you jump into RustEdit, check for updates, obviously. It should update automatically when you download. And then here you're going to be greeted with, hey, what is your directory for Rust? It's underneath the Steam directory. If you have a default Steam directory, it's going to be underneath C, program files x86, Steam, Steam apps, common. Let's blow this up here. So C, program files x86, Steam, Steam apps, common, and then you should find Rust. And then that's it. You'll want to put that right in here. And we'll start customizing it right off the bat. So right here, we're going to do tools, procedural tools, native, and we're just going to generate the terrain. And if we don't like it, we can just regenerate it and go from there. I'm going to hit G instead. And hey, why not? That looks pretty cool. We can make this one big mountain range or bring these up a little bit more. So why don't we do that? We're going to hit G, double click, and these aren't too bad. Let's mess with the terrain tool. Now, if you notice right here, these ruffles, that's real hard to replicate, but they give us a nice set of brushes, so we should have no problem making them. Now, I want to bring just this part up. Terrain, I'm going to choose the size, opacity, and if I click on that, it brings it up. But notice how right here, the fall off is pretty bad. Control Z. Control C, Control V, copy paste, Control Z, undo, reduce, Control Y. So we're going to go ahead and let's kind of bring this up even more. And notice how the fall off right there, the blurriness, does it so it's not so much of a spike. That allows me to raise a mountain a little bit more without too much of a stretch. And then right here, I'm going to want this to come up. But first, I want to go ahead and instead of raise lower, I want to use a stamper and mountain. I want something that replicates a mountain range that goes, this is reverse. You can see where this goes up. Now this is hugging the edge a little bit. The strength is pretty high. Let's bring down the height just a smudge. And we're going to rotate it. And we're going to rotate it back. There we go. Go right on top. 2, 3, 4, 5. Not bad. We're getting a mountain range there. And then, of course, we can have it branch off over here. So why don't we do that? Bring this back a little bit. So you get the idea with the stamp tool. And now we have this nice little mountain range. We can make it snow. We can make it whatever type of temperate weather we want. Temperate weather. What type of weather we want. These ruffles, these were all used by a brush. Same thing. You can bring up the strength. Or I'm sorry. There we go. To really see it, bring up the scale. And then if I hit it like this, I can really just add extra mountain range, Control Z. But what we're going to do is we are going to use, see what plains look like. Let's add some grassy plains, bring down the scale, bring down the strength. If I hit Control, it'll reverse it and throw it down, Control Z. Which is great for desert areas, but we definitely want to bring down the height. You can make whole islands. And of course, you can always build something up and then smooth it down. Which this doesn't look too bad. So what I'm going to do right here is now I'm going to add smooth. I'm going to bring the size down and the opacity way down. And just kind of get the fall off of that. Notice how the shadows aren't changing. It's because once you let it go, then it's going to re-render. And you're going to kind of see how that works out. And then you can just use your stamp tool again. And instead of island, we will use mountain mesa. And I can rotate this back around, scale it down quite a bit. And it gives it a little bit more character. Now, you're never really going to know until you start playing what this is going to look like. Let's hit Control Z a couple times. There. That actually doesn't look too bad. Let's throw another one there. And one there. All right, let's overdo it. Why not? Now, flatten is if you want to go ahead and just have it at a set height. And your height is right here. It's at 500. I believe 500 is just above water level. However, if somebody's swimming, it's going to show up real quick. And it's just going to be a crater going straight down. So you might want to gradually do that or make a bigger area and then use your smooth and your opacity to, oh, geez, Control Z, to really have it fall off. If you want to create a river, which we will do over here, that's our path tools. Now you have road, river, APC I haven't messed with, and cargo ship I haven't messed with. So I'm not too sure about these two, but road and river are pretty simple. Let's create a new path and we'll see which way this is flowing. Let's hit spawn. So this is where that is right there. This needs to go down below. So Control Z, knowing that this is where this starts, let's go up here. And we can have that start right there. And next we can choose this. Now notice how I'm moving around. And my movement is, I don't want to say obstructed, but it's not there in my face all the time. I can center the gizmo, which is your axis. And then no matter where I'm looking and I move it, it'll move. That's very helpful and handy. So I'm going to bring this over. I'm going to bring this down. And let's just cut this through just a tad. And then I can add a node at index. I can actually say how many nodes. Let's do 2. Add node at index. And we got a couple more down here. Let's bring this up, down, over, and we're actually going to have that go out into the ocean. Because, hey, why not? I've seen Rust glitch plenty of times, so I'm not going to feel bad when I do it. You don't want this to go down too deep, but you want it to be enough to cut through there. Again, it's going to be hitting the contour of this area. Let's highlight this entire area here. So we have 1, 2. I thought I added 2 extra, but I guess not. All right, looks like we're going to have to jump underneath. There we go. So following along this path of the water, it's going to come down. It's going to spin around. Not bad. So if you apply the terrain modifiers, it's going to edit the terrain, which is okay for right now. Because again, you know, you want to mess with it a little bit. Bring this up, apply terrain modifiers. We can always add rocks around here. This does look a little off. We can hit Control Z a few times because I don't like how the terrain modifiers acted. Bring this up. And over. Apply terrain modifiers. This is going to take a little getting used to. Bring that way down. Apply terrain modifiers. That's a little bit better. This, however, Control Z. The more curves you have, the better off you're going to be, because the more natural looking it's going to be. And let's see here, add node at index. I don't understand why this jumped off here. I now understand why that jumped off there. So I added a node where I indexed it, obviously. It did exactly what it said it was going to do. Okay, so this now I can bring back into the mountain just a smidge, bring it up, bring it over, and now I can bring this one right here back out and down, and I will bring this down under just a little bit, and then I can bring this one down just a little bit. Now if I apply terrain modifiers, it's still going to cut through. This looks a little bit more natural looking, whereas this doesn't up here. So Control Z, and then I can just bring this up a little bit more. Apply terrain modifiers, that's better. Now if I add the splat map modifiers, it's going to add the actual bottom where the rock looks like it is. The terrain's already been edited. It's at a slope. We'll get rid of that later in post-processing. You can apply the topology, applied side topology, just the stuff around it. Things are going to grow there anyways. And spawn. Now you add the rock thing up top. And finish editing and close. Thing is, now that that's been closed, you can no longer edit this. So if you're going to make a river, make sure it's exactly where you want. We're going to hit G, it's updating the map, there's our river. Rivers take a little while, it takes a little bit getting used to, but like anything else, it takes some time. Another thing that I want to touch up on is caves. So let's actually see what the generated version would be. Let's not add any caves. Okay. Let's not, I mean, procedurally add any caves. We're going to make our own cave. So let's say we want to make a cave right over here. Okay. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to jump into prefabs, and then you get a whole list. Oop. Prefabs, caves. And you might want to start with an entrance. I believe there was another one too. What did we look at? Cave well. Well, anyways, we'll do cave entrance B. which I think will fit it. What I found right here, though, is when you're rotating it, you want to rotate it on the Y. So I'm going to hit Control W to move it, and I'm going to move this over to about here. There, we'll bring this over to about here. And then we're going to go to our terrain painter, and instead of biome, we're going to choose alpha. We're going to throw the size down as much as possible, and then we can just cut out around the cave as much as possible without going over the sides. If you absolutely have to right here, I guess. And if you delete something that you didn't want to, you go ahead and just use your eraser. I know you figure that you're erasing this, but you're not. You're actually erasing the alpha that you painted onto it. So now we have this cave going underneath. And again, we're going to exit out of the terrain painter. Prefabs, prefab list. Let's use a cave junction. Now, you want to notice, you want to really take a look around you too whenever you make caves. Say, all right, well, is this going to have to go down further? How far down? Don't worry about the water. It creates its own, I don't know, force field, something, I don't know. And say we want cave steps down. So we're going to drag the cave steps down. We can either bring that, trying to get it as close as possible, this edge right here to this one right here. Or what we can do is we can hit sockets and show sockets. And this is our entrance and exit. So we can attach these two to each other. And I believe this is the spikes that everybody just loves and adores so much. So we'll actually disconnect those. Here, let's exit out of this. So if you just save it, there we go. All right, so we're going to connect this one to that one, and notice how it jumped down. And it moved outside of the boundaries that we wanted it to. We're going to hit Control Z to bring it back, and we're going to connect this piece to that piece. There we go. And that's basically how you create a cave right here. This comes up. I believe we can do terrain painter, alpha, and instead of eraser, we'll use paintbrush. And we can just bring some rocks right over. Let me make sure that, nope. Okay, so we'll have to put some rocks over that because people will see right into it. And these are the little things that you're just going to have to keep in mind when you're making maps. Paintbrush. All right. So let's say that you made a few caves, you made a few rivers. Let's go ahead and start making your biomes. Now you can either paint on with the terrain painter. I'm sure you saw it. You're a biome. I would start with the biome first. Right now it always starts as all green. But let's go ahead, and you can also paint on your topology and your splat. I would start with your splat and then your topology. But let's go ahead and let's procedurally generate the biomes. Now, it really might not look like much right now, but that's because we can't really see what's going on. So underneath terrain painter, well, okay, it's already on biome. We know that that's very cold, very cold. And we can add the topology, actually. Procedural tools. I use this just to save time, or I've been using this to save time when I'm learning how to use this. Let's do our splat and then our topology. So the splat is like the little things like the tiny little rocks, or not tiny little rocks, I'm sorry. It's the grass, texture, oh, some grass here. Now the tiny little rocks and I believe wood, sticks, you know, just the extra things. That's what's added on extra. So again, procedural tools, native, and then you can just go down to the same thing, topology. Let's see if the rocks popped up. There's our grass. Tools, procedural tools. You can do roads. Keep in mind that the roads work the same way as the river does, so you can actually have a road going through here. Paths, create, road, create a new road. And then shift or control and, well, screw it. Let's move here. And we'll move this down this way. I'll bring this down here. Have it come down this way. Now let's really have it hug. So apply topology modifiers. Oh, Control Z. We applied the splat modifier. So let's bring this down to the splat. Now this is why you're going to want to add the splat modifiers and the terrain modifiers after. It didn't do too bad. We're going to have to add on to that. So this is where our terrain tool, I wouldn't use smooth. I would probably use raise lower. And then you want to always check your size. Bring that down. Bring that up. Holy crap. Opacity is way too high. And then you would smooth it out. You could probably bring up the opacity quite a bit. Make easy process or easy work of it. Road doesn't have to be perfect. It never is. But if you want it to be perfect, again, it's easier. Again, sometimes the topology doesn't hug it correctly. So just be aware of that. There we go. It seems to be working okay right now, though. It wasn't doing that earlier. And then you'll just have to edit it, so on and so forth. you're going to want to fill in right here as well. Now I'm just tapping it a little bit and then smoothing it out. And again, trees don't render unless you go ahead and load it into the game, which you're going to have to start a server. So while you guys are doing this, I'm going to, and really playing with it, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to start up your own local server. It's a quick download, but the setting it up is a pain in the neck. Once you do it, then you're going to be able to test it out. And again, when we get this community going, I really want you guys to go ahead and test the maps out first. Make sure they're not super buggy, kind of really run around, make sure that the maps, for the most part, not, you know, there's rocks floating in the air and stuff like that, because that will happen from time to time. All right, that doesn't look too bad. And over here doesn't look too bad. All right, so that's how you make roads. Same thing. Paths. We're gonna click this. Apply side topology modifiers. All right, and that's all pretty much all set. You can spawn decor. Sometimes it'll spawn bus stops. We'll do power lines spawn. So we have power lines running along here. And let's do bus stops spawn. Yeah, it's going to be right down there, right where that cliff is. Awesome. Oh, right at the end here too. Cool. Well, that makes sense. One at each end. Outer padding, outer face. Anyways, once it's done, you can hit finish editing and close. And then if you click on it again, that's it. You're good. You're done. You can move these around, but you can also add power lines, I believe, underneath prefabs. So you get the basic idea of it. So now that we have that added in, and we have that road, this cave we'll do when we generate the rocks, which we probably should do now. We've added the topologies, we've added... Okay, let's add large monuments first. We'll hit G. Updating map, generated. Here's our road. We have a train yard now. That's cool. Oh, hey. It looks like we have something where an ice lake could be, and I'm guessing it would be there if it would be anywhere. Tools, procedural tools, native, generate, ice lakes. Yep. Psh. Surprise, surprise. And you know, this is pretty good. I find it easier to do this, kind of make the areas and build out what you want first. Like if you wanted this all here split in half, I would edit the terrain first, then add the temperate weather, you know, so on and so forth. This rock face actually didn't come out too bad. It actually looks like it's supposed to be there. Because we added the topologies after, and we added the splat map after. So it's good to do your roads and the rivers and stuff like that. Don't need to generate caves because we already have a cave that we're going to be messing more. Okay, so let's add small monuments, and then We'll add medium monuments. And that we definitely don't want. Control Z. So let's try that again because it's procedural. I don't think that will add it there again. What the f? Okay. Probably should add the monuments first because you can always move them around. Keep that in mind. But you yourself, yeah, see, you can always move it around and add the topologies for the stuff underneath. And the topologies will also cut out the bottom so that the dungeons or the caves will be at the bottom. Here, Control Z. So it'd probably be better to do that first. Yeah. And after all that is said and done, tools, procedural tools, native, add your road monuments. Not a whole heck of a lot. Of course, we don't have a lot of roads. We can add a circular road too. A ring road. And we'll spawn the decorations. Where did we get a road? We got a road somewhere. I know it. Oh, hey. We got satellite. Yeah, let's hit G, generate. Okay, high quality metal. This is actually turning out to be pretty good. G, before I forget, let's do harbor. Fishing village. 2 fishing villages, 3 fishing villages. With 1 large at the top. High quality metal, quarry, stone quarry. Yeah, okay. Looks like it didn't. Tools, procedural tools. Generate a ring road. So let's, well, first things first. The easiest way that I found is you can either put rocks here and then go ahead and generate the other ones. But you might as well use the procedural tools and generate your own rocks. Or have it generate the rocks, I should say. And here's your cave entrance. We're going to bring this over and then up. Bring that over a little bit. Out. There we go. And I can bring this one over here. And bring that out to about there. Let me see here. Yeah, that looks good. So you get the basic idea with the alphas. Same thing with the rocks down here too. You can do that with smaller rocks. Bring this up. There we go. And you get the basic idea. Now notice how this grass is following it. That's the topology that you painted on it. If you go all the way up, it's still going to do that because it's painted like a height map. Keep that in mind when you're painting it. But we can add this like this. Screw it. Let's just do this for right now. So like you could add that just for now to keep that out of the way so that the players, because the players outside are probably going to see it a lot more than the players on the inside. There, fixed. And we still have our rolling hills, our rocks. You can throw a couple Happus rocks in here. So let's see here, paths, no, I'm sorry, prefabs, prefab list, Happus, puzzle blue, green, waterfall. There's the old cave. NPC vending machine, Happus rock formation. The classic rock formation. There we go. Everybody knows that one. I mean, if we really wanted to, why not? Let's grab this. No idea where I just put that. So Control Z because it's going to end up somewhere. And you don't want a player to find it when, you know, he's getting shot at and then he says it's bullshit and then your map's complete garbage. You're a horrible map creator. You don't know what you're doing. Just for everybody. So this is a perfect example of when it would be a good time to scale. Where you could scale this and choose a couple. I don't think that that would be a good place for it. Let's take this Happus rock. And now we can bring it back down. There we go. Might as well throw that right there. And then we could take this, move that up. You guys get the basic idea, and don't forget you can rotate it too. Now, right here, this is a perfect example of terrain painter. Instead of biome, we'll do splat. And we'll just do dirt. Cover that up. And then grass. And we got rid of that. So this is where you would edit out just a few things. This actually, I don't even think we need that. I think we could just do grass, yeah. So we can edit out that. You know what, let's get rid of that. And then of course right here, I'm going to do rock. Why not? All right. And then grass from the back. Oh. So you guys get the basic idea. Yeah. Then you could just start adding some things in. And don't forget to save. I mean, saving is key. everything should generate, and then next tutorial I'm going to show you guys how to do a server. But yeah, that should do it. Again, link in the description to do this. And like, comment, subscribe. Subscribing is key at this point, guys, if we're really going to build this up. Discord's coming, or the Discord, I keep saying it's coming out, and I decide, I'm going to make a movie. So I'm just going to release it, and we'll just call it the Rust Connection, and go from there. All right, guys, take care.